Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show. Today, Trump has finally gotten the win from the Supreme Court. No more nationwide injunctions, guys. This is the mother of all wins. There's been over 100 injunctions stopping Trump from executing his policy for the American people, for the people what we voted for, guys. No more nationwide injunctions. The federal district rogue activist judges have been stopped thanks to the Supreme Court, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Trump is about to go even faster than he's ever gone on making sure putting America first, putting his policies in place, guys. Every deep stater, every Democrat is shaking in their boots right now. This is the mother of all wins, baby. Show some love in the chat. If you are MAGA, if you are America First, guys, show some love in the chat. Let me know, because this is what we voted for. We finally got the win. No more nationwide injunctions coming from the Supreme Court. This was the only defense the Democrats had because the policies are so bad. Trump has now secured the win. And not only that, there's more massive wins from the Supreme Court in common sense. Check this out. Trump's birthright citizenship is still in effect. Parents have the right to opt out their kids being indoctrinated with LGBTQ propaganda in public schools. States can now require age verification for those bad sites, guys. We are winning so much right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because again, this is the mother of all wins. Everything that was stopping Trump from moving forward, all the nationwide injunctions, every policy, every executive order that he put out was being stopgapped by a nationwide injunction from a rogue activist judge, and now that's over. This is the mother of all. And not only that, Trump is bragging right now, guys, because guess what? Everybody's about to start winning. Every American is about to start winning, whether you are on Social Security, whether you own a business, whether you're a parent. Everybody's about to start winning because what's coming forth is what he promised. The no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, the no tax for anybody making under $150,000 a year. Guess what, guys? Right here, what I'm about to tell you, take a seat, get some popcorn, because this show is about to knock your socks off. Trump just signed the biggest tariff deal in American history with China. In the past month, we have pulled in almost $100 billion in tariff revenue. This is a 10x increase compared to the average, and Trump said, we are giving this back to Americans. Not only that, guys, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill, a big bill that she was working on, passed in the House. This bill ensures that illegal aliens who drive drunk, get caught, are automatically deported. 246 yeas, 160 Democrats voted no on this. Not only that, Trump is not messing around, guys. I'm telling you, with this mother of all wins, with the Supreme Court, Trump has now threatened legal action against the New York Times and CNN over misleading coverage based on illegally leaked intel on Iran strikes. Trump's personal attorney, Alejandro Brito, contacted both outlets demanding a retraction, public apology, calling the report false, defamatory, and unpatriotic. Lawsuits are coming, guys. Not only that, the CBS, the 60 Minutes interview, they're trying to settle with Trump for $20 million. This guy cannot stop winning. But not only is the wins for him, it's for America, guys. And you want to know, this is probably the biggest smack to the face of fraud and corruption. Edward Korestein, also known as Big Balls, is now working full-time within the Social Security Administration for DOJ, identifying rampant waste, fraud, and abuse that plagues the agency, guys. We have some bombshell breaking news today, guys. This is the mother of all news. This is the show of all shows, guys, that we have finally, from the Supreme Court, stopped the nationwide injunctions. We're pulling in so much money from tariff revenue. We have the China deal that has been signed. The EU this morning said, Trump, we want to make a deal just like China. Guys, are we not winning on every single level? We're bringing the receipts, guys, and the left-wing media outlets cannot stand it. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Join our family here at True Life News, guys, because we are bringing it. Thank you so much to all of our members of the channel. Thank you so much to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Elaine Demeen, show them some love in the chat, guys. We got a big show for you today. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, it really does help out the channel so much. Trump has won with the Supreme Court. We've won with tariffs. We got the China deal. EU wants to make a deal. Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill has passed. We've got more Doge people in the Social Security Administration cleaning up the fraud, waste, and abuse. Trump is threatening legal action against New York Times and CNN, guys. This is winning at the next level. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because what you're about to see next, guys, it's across the world. Check this out.
Something Donald Trump said at NATO today, like Pedro Martinez calling the New York Yankees his daddy in 2004. And we show you this for a different reason. We show you this because one question from a member of the foreign media shows just how far Donald Trump has come, from 4 indictments, 91 felony charges, to assassination attempts, the 2020 election, January 6th, to questions like this today.
Guys, I just have to pause this, guys. Think about it. 6 indictments, almost being assassinated twice, tried to be pulled out and put into jail, and Trump is literally putting America on the map like never before.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that?
All right, so you remember Pedro Martinez and now Rob Schmidt as well. We have not seen that since Reagan's second term. Donald Trump, 150 days today into his second term, is undisputably the most respected leader in the world. Not just the free world, the world in general. And Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping and the supreme leader, and Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Zelensky and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and everyone else, they all know it. The world may have loved Barack Obama or the idea of Barack Obama. NATO adored Barack Obama, but they respect Donald Trump and they fear him in a very powerful way. Nobody feared Joe Biden. In the last 36 hours, the president has negotiated what could be a historic peace deal between Israel and Iran. He then flew to the Netherlands. He then got NATO countries to finally pony up 5% of their GDP for defense. And he met with the president of Ukraine about ending the war there, and it is only Wednesday. But already, quite a difference from our last NATO summit when President Otto Penn from Scranton was in charge. This was last June, 1 year ago. Remember, Joe Biden is there, and he sees something. And the White House said, no, he was having a conversation with airmen off in the distance.
Guys,
you widen out the camera, there's nobody there.
Look how far we have come, guys. And not only that, this is as beautiful as it gets. The Supreme Court just instructed district courts to stop the endless nationwide injunctions against President Trump. They said the left-wing judicial activism must, and now, guys, this is the receipt. This is the biggest win that we have been waiting for, guys. We have been hoping for, because we knew they were going to try to stop Trump's agenda one way or another. And now the Supreme Court has finally ruled on these nationwide injunctions, and they are not lawful. They have no legal bounds. One rogue judge out of the 800 that exist in the United States cannot control the sitting president. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is huge. Today is probably one of the biggest days ever, guys. I'm telling you, because it gets even better. The left is losing it.
It must be to be a Democrat today, like a real dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. It's the last week of June, the last week of Pride Month, what's been a really weak Pride Month. And by our count, Democrats are now onto their 5th flag in 5 months. In February, it was the Ukraine flag, 3 years since the war in Ukraine started. In April, it was the Palestinian flag. during all those graduations and anti-Israel protests and riots across the country. Then it was the Mexican flag during those anti-ICE riots where many of the people rioting and looting were illegal aliens themselves waving the flag of a country that they will not go back to. Go back. We don't want you here. Go back to Mexico. Viva la Mexico. And now it's June. And June has been really confusing. It started with the pride flag and then the trans pride flag, the one with the triangle. And now it's about to end with American citizens waving the Iranian flag.
So also understanding that most of these wars are for Israel. It's that 7 wars for Israel plan. Iran is the last one standing. But fortunately, Iran, can actually defend itself. I think Iran is actually powerful enough to win this thing. Even the Houthis basically chased away, Trump. So if Trump couldn't beat the Houthis, I don't know how delusional, he is, thinking that Israel.
Guys, this is what we are this is what is happening in America, guys. Is this not crazy? Is common sense not exposing these protesters? Doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's against Trump, they want to vote for it. Joanne Momoa, welcome to the channel. Deanna Rankin, thank you so much for the super chat. Keep praying for our president and our MAGA supporters whom he's chosen. Pray for Israel. Mama Bays, thank you so much. Said 6/27/2025, Trump was reelected to president. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Senator Thune needs to be fired. The parliamentarian immediately. She's gutting the BBB. 100%, guys. We are seeing the biggest news come out today from the Supreme Court, from the Senate, over what is actually going on with the big, beautiful bill. But what I love is that we're showing you exactly that America is finally being put first with the most powerful president I feel like we've had in generations, and America is winning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Iranian flag, we love Iran. We love Iran. Death to America. More on that in a moment. A week away from the 4th of July, notice none of these people are waving the American flag. For these people that you're looking at right there, the American flag is by far the most controversial. Notice that in New York City, residents just nominated a self-avowed socialist radical who also happens to be Muslim to be mayor. A man whose mother claims that he identifies as Ugandan Indian before American. The media continue to tell us that all of this is perfectly normal, which of course it is not. We used to take pride in assimilation, pride in the melting pot, pride in America, but Democrats and illegals and all of their supporters are so darn confused now that they are literally waving a different flag every month, including flags from countries where people chant death to America, the Iranian flag, in the streets. Pride flags and Iranian flags at the same protests and parades, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because being gay in Iran is against the law and punishable by death. Look it up. To the point where ICE agents right now are out there looking for over 1,500 Iranian illegal aliens who arrived here from Iran somehow. How did they get here? When Joe Biden was president, 11 have already been arrested, and one of the 11, Rivbar Kermani, reportedly served as an Iranian army sniper from 2018 to 2021. Now, what do you suppose?
Guys, and all of this is happening. The left-wing media outlets are continuing to try to throw propaganda, trying to mislead, trying to lie. So Trump threatens legal action against the New York Times and CNN over misleading coverage based on illegally leaked intel on Iran strikes. Trump's personal attorney contacted both outlets and demanded a retraction, a public apology, calling the report false, defamatory, and unpatriotic. Guys, he's already winning the lawsuit with CBS 60 Minutes. I'm telling you, every single one of these liars, the propagandists, is about to see justice coming from Trump for the American people because Trump's fed up with it. We've seen so much, guys, that has been lied upon, even right here, guys. You cannot make this stuff up, what I'm about to show you, but we are winning today big time.
Understood. They don't really mean that when they say it. Take a look.
Israel stays in place, and that is part of the discussion, right? Yes, absolutely part of the discussion. And, you know, I remember, Dan, at one point being in Tehran years ago, and they're chanting death to America all around me, even as I say, oh, I'm an American reporting for CNN, and they were happy to speak to me. So that those two is sort of jarring realities of the chant, and yet the friendliness have existed together.
Are you
okay? Just before we get to that, it's just Tehran. It's not Tehran. I was in Tehran. Okay, I was just in Rome a couple months ago, last month, doing the conclave. I didn't say I was just in Roma. Ciao, arrivederci, Annie. I was in Roma. No, we're live reporting from Rome. I'm not in Tehran. I'm in Tehran. Okay, just say it like you would say it here. Don't get cute. Okay, and death to America? What a friendly chant that is. I bet you didn't know that at home. It's a friendly little chant. Death to you in America. What friendly people. You know, I can remember when these two guys broke into my house and took everything we owned. Everything, all the jewelry, everything. You know, they were so polite, though. They took off their shoes, all right? They wore those things the cable guys wear, those little things over the shoes. And they were careful not to ding the walls when they were taking our TVs out of the house. They are really just wonderful, friendly, misunderstood people. Death to America. That was a CNN anchor trying to convince her audience that the people chanting death to America are really friendly, nice people. That is CNN and Aaron Burnett. And they are doing that on purpose.
Guys, do you hear this? You're seeing it, guys. We bring the receipts. Like, this is as crazy as it gets. But this is right here, guys. If there's anything that is just destroying the lies, the corruption, everything that we've been fighting against because we want to bring the truth, we want to put America first, it's right here on the screen. It's official. The Act Blue officials have been subpoenaed. The Act Blue organization that the Democratic campaigns run off of, they get all their billions of dollars from, has now been subpoenaed. Their executives have resigned. They have been caught, guys, with their pants down of just being exposed for fraud and corruption, of allowing foreign entities to interfere with our elections. We are winning across the board, guys. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat. You can't make this stuff up. The wins just keep adding up. The U.S. House passes a bill that ensures illegal aliens who drive drunk get deported. Guys, can you believe it? 160 Democrats said no to this. If you're an illegal alien, you're not even supposed to be here in the first place, and you drive drunk where you had the potential to take somebody else's life that may be a citizen, and we finally passed a bill. Like, this is the type of stuff that gets crazy because we have to pass a bill in order to make sure that our Americans are safe like this. But it gets better, guys, because we are exposing everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Congressman, I've been in and out of meetings since we covered the Pentagon this morning and did the show about the Pentagon. They've been in meetings all day. I know there's tons happening on Capitol Hill. We want to get caught up with you because you've been quite vocal about this madness with the parliamentarian. Can you please get her? I know you're not in the Senate yet. Could you talk to us about what the hell is going on?
Well, I think everybody's asking that question. Basically, what you're seeing is the bill isn't doing so good right now. Of course, we want to pass President Trump's agenda as fast as possible. I love the tax portion of the bill. I love the border security part of the bill and the energy part of the bill. But what I don't love, Steve, is basically something we call poison pills that have been slid into this bill. And we're really upset about that. So there's a few provisions that need to be taken out. But there was just an absolute unforgivable thing that happened today by the Senate parliamentarian. And the Senate parliamentarian, she has a lot of power over a reconciliation bill in the Senate. She was appointed by Harry Reid, former Democrat senator. So that should say as much as you need to know. Well, she stripped out some extremely important provisions that we in the House put in the bill. We put in provisions that would stop taxpayer funding of sex changes on children, gender-affirming care. So that was something President Trump campaigned on. That's what I campaigned on. My Republican colleagues, we stopped that in the big, beautiful bill. We also did something extremely important. We put in the bill that no illegal aliens can receive Medicaid and Medicare. Well, the Senate parliamentarian stripped out those provisions. And so this is like, as a conservative, many of my colleagues, and I'm sure President Trump himself, does not want to pass a bill that will continue funding child sex changes with taxpayer money, and will continue to give Medicare and Medicaid to illegal aliens that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris let in our country. And so,
guys, and look, we bring the receipts, guys, because Senator John Thune, who is the leader of the Senate, says he will not overrule parliamentarian who rejected Medicaid provisions in the big beautiful bill. So he's already come out and said, no, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to overrule the person who is literally taking out some of the most key components on making sure that we stop wasting our taxpayer money on non-citizens. Guys, let me know your thoughts on what you think about John Thune, because guys, this is just crazy that he's allowing this to happen. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is big. And what I love is what you're about to hear next from Marjorie Taylor Greene. I feel like she's going to be, if she continues, the Speaker of the House or the leader, because she is putting America first, and a lot of people are loving it.
These are the things that are happening in the Senate. Many of the senators are upset as well. We're all hoping to get the AI 10-year AI moratorium out of the big beautiful bill. That should have never been in there. Absolutely did not belong in there. That was not part of the campaign. And so that is actually being worked on right now. But it's not looking good for the deadline that President Trump wanted and we all hoped for. And we're just going to wait and see what's happening in the Senate.
One of the best things you do is to get people up to speed on actually some of this inside baseball, which they love. First off, the reconciliation, why can't it have this and why did it take so long? I understand that it's not directly related, because the reconciliation is a little bit of a gimmick. You can use this as because it doesn't take 60 votes, only 51, but they had this thing called the Byrd Amendment from Senator Byrd that you basically couldn't slip in policy changes that was not directly related to the to money.
Right.
So,
however,
why is go ahead.
Well, the Byrd rule it is in place here in the Senate parliamentarian. That is what she runs everything through, the Byrd rule, and see if it's policy changes. But she hasn't been consistent. So, for example, she allowed the 10-year moratorium on state rights to make laws and regulations on AI. She allowed that to go through, and that's the biggest policy change you can even think of. That's destroying federalism for 10 years. Yeah, that's a policy change. She allowed that to stay in. However, she took out things like stopping funding of transgender surgeries on kids. She took things out like stopping Medicare and Medicaid for illegal aliens. So those were problems for her, but the AI moratorium wasn't. So she hasn't been consistent. And, Steve, it's coming down to this. We've got radical activist judges destroying President Trump's agenda. Now we have a Senate parliamentarian that is acting like a far left activist in her role. Leader Thune needs to fire her. He needs to fire the Senate parliamentarian. They need to quickly replace her with a good Republican, someone that we know and that we can trust and will do a good job. And we need to be able to get this thing through. But we need to stop allowing these far left activists, whether they're an unelected bureaucrat or a judge, from stopping the people's agenda. And it's 100%. Getting to be infuriating.
Guys, and again, I want to show you this because this is all breaking news of what's coming out with the Supreme Court, what Trump is saying. This is about as big as it gets when it comes to the wins, guys. Trump has been waiting for this for the past, ever since he put out his first executive order. Listen to this.
This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch. The Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. And really, it's been an amazing period of time this last hour. There are people elated all over the country. I've seen such such happiness and spirit. Sometimes you don't see that, but this case is very important. I was elected on a historic mandate, but in recent months we've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers.
Guys, is that not crazy that we're finally going to be moving forward so fast with these wins? Guys, I love it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Victor Basil, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, wonderful job as always. I enjoy your straightforwardness. Appreciate it. Y'all show Victor some love in the chat, guys, because again, what you're about to hear next, things are moving. People are being exposed, especially Senator John Thune for not taking any action against the parliamentarian who is stopping a lot of the provisions that are supposed to block aid and taxpayer money given to illegals. Listen to this.
Can you explain to people why Harry Reid, who's been not just gone from D.C. for a while, but been dead for a while, why is someone, he was such a hardcore partisan, why do we have a parliamentarian that Harry Reid designated when this has been in Republican hands for a long time, ma'am?
I'll just say it to you very bluntly. Republicans do not know how to wield power. They do not know how to completely radically change the institution like it should be changed when we have the power and control. I'll give you another example, Steve. In the House, we have a chaplain that was appointed by Nancy Pelosi. Why do we have a chaplain that's appointed by Nancy Pelosi? We can, that's something that Mike Johnson can change like that. Just like that. He can remove this chaplain that Nancy Pelosi appointed that many Republicans do not want as our chaplain. He can remove her and we can replace her with a good Christian chaplain. But that hasn't been done. That hasn't been done either. And I can't comprehend why they don't do these things.
Today, these are such big things that came out. We heard from the transgender people earlier in the day. President Trump wanted this on his desk to sign, but it sounds like he's going to have, even the Senate is going to have a while to do this. What do you think the realistic schedule is now? Or people in the House, what are they even talking about?
I think what we're going to see realistically is a moving target, so that a lot of these things are going back through the Senate parliamentarian. I just learned a little bit ago the AI moratorium that has been opened back up. So she may end up using the Byrd rule on that one. That may get stripped out. It should be stripped out. This is a no-brainer. However, when it comes to forcing taxpayers to pay for child sex changes and Medicaid and Medicare for illegal aliens, that is a non-starter, and I would think it's a non-starter for the president himself. So I'm not sure what's going to be done about those issues. And then, with the SALT issue, they're still fighting about that. The SALT guys are down at the Treasury right now having a meeting and debating back and forth about, tax savings for the rich Democrats in New York that just elected progressive, radical, I don't know what you call him. He hasn't even been a citizen for 6 years. 6 years he's just been in our country. And so that's what's happening in New York right now, Steve. But you're going to see this thing roll and change literally probably by the hour and by the day. But here's what I think is important. We have to pass the agenda. The American people voted for it. And the more simple we make this bill, when we get it down to the campaign promises that President Trump wants delivered, is the great tax package that is put together. It's incredible. The incredible energy savings and the energy policy that's in there, and the border security and the hiring over 10,000 ICE agents, fully funding and building the wall. I mean, these are important things. Helping Tom Homan, because God bless him, I think he's doing a fantastic job. Those are the things that we really want to vote on and pass. But we just have to stand our ground.
And guys, again, too, remember, everything that she's talking about and everything that they're fighting about, all of it is essentially always going to get to the Supreme Court. But I have to show you this, guys, because again, too, every single thing that cannot be done in the next 2 months by Congress, Trump is going to do a nationwide executive order. Why? Because again, he's got 3 years, guys, and essentially 1 year if we don't win the midterms. But this ruling right here that we've just won today, with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, coming out and winning a 6-3 ruling, and when it was written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now remember, guys, it's not because she wanted to; she was just assigned to write it. So it's not like she was like, "Hey, pick me." No, she's been voting crazy ever since she's been in there. But in the 6-3 ruling, Justice Amy Coney Barrett said that the federal courts are overstepping when they issue nationwide rulings for people who aren't involved in a lawsuit. This decision limits the power of district judges to halt federal policies across the country based on a single case. The court's authority doesn't stretch that far, granting for a partial state and blasting the practice as exceeding what Congress allows, guys. That is what we voted for. And what I love is that it just continues to add to the wins of Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
They're moving, even as we speak, about the big, beautiful bill, and the parliamentarian. It's going to get quite complicated. We'll make sure you're up to speed on all of it. One thing that shocked me is that they said the other day, reported, and actually Speaker Johnson confirmed it, that Thune and these guys were not really, the Senate leadership was not keeping the Speaker in the loop on changes that were being made. Is that true? And how's that setting with essentially the conference?
I don't think that's very good. The Senate, whatever the Senate passes, has to come back to the House for another vote. So I would think the Speaker and the Senate Majority Leader would be in lockstep and complete communication at all times, because we have the tightest numbers in the House. We can barely lose any votes. So they should be constantly communicating, and the Speaker should be an advocate for the members in the House on what we will and won't vote for. And, you know, we basically want to make sure that it's President Trump's agenda that gets passed. You know, there's a lot of people that work on these bills, and provisions get snuck in. And it's extremely important for the House and the Senate to be on the same page as tightly as possible, so that we can do what President Trump is asking us to do, which we very much want to do. And we would love to have a huge July 4th celebration with him and get the passage of this bill signed. And that's exactly what we want. So I don't know. I think those guys should be on the phone every minute and be meeting constantly all day long.
Guys, and right here, I want to show you again what they're talking about. What you're seeing on the screen, John Thune, and then this is the Senate parliamentarian who is basically striking down all the cuts for Medicaid, for given to illegal aliens. She's taking all that out, guys. And I want to say thank you so much, Fred Samuel, for the super chat. Let's go. He said J.D. Vance needs to have an old-fashioned sit-down with Thune and slap him back on our side, guys. Show some love to Fred in the chat. And if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, want to say this right here, guys, is so huge. That when John Thune officially declines overruling or firing the Senate parliamentarian appointed by Democrat Harry Reid in 2012 after she strikes a dozen or more MAGA items from the big beautiful bill. He said that would not be a good outcome for getting a bill done. Are you kidding me? Why do they keep acting like we don't have the majority? If it's a budget reconciliation bill, then that means that we only need 51 votes. And when you got 53 GOP in the Senate, what the heck is he doing? Whose side is he on? Guys, this is the part that gets me the most, because we constantly see that whenever we need people to step up, they don't step up and they're siding with the Democrats. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We need more America First policies, because again, too, what you're about to hear next, guys, this is coming from Congress, that we have pit bulls in there that are just calling everybody out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Mr. Director, I want to apologize to the protesters, but I can assure you that under congressional rules and the laws in the District of Columbia, they will be promptly punished and put on double secret probation. You'll probably see them back again today. I think the president's demonstrated that he understands that what you allow is what will continue. We seem to have a problem with that concept. I listen to some of my colleagues accuse you of doing everything but abandoning your children to wolves. They accuse you of undermining the sanctity and integrity of the appropriations process. And I'm sitting here thinking, what sanctity? What integrity? What appropriations process? I'm proud to serve on this committee. I watched this committee last year. We passed 11 out of 12 minibuses. Sent them to, and we all choked down some stuff you wouldn't believe. And we sent them to Senator Schumer, my friend. He refused to bring the bills to the floor of the Senate. Now, that's when he was in the majority. You really think he's going to allow us to vote on a budget when the politics have changed and his politics? If you do, you're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in. What appropriations process? All we've got left are CRs and rescission packages.
Ooh.
And President Trump's not the first president to ever send a rescission package, is he?
No, sir.
A bunch of presidents have, haven't they? And did civilization melt?
They did not.
No, they didn't. Now, you want to know how we got $36 trillion in debt? Just listen to this. Let me tell you what it's like. A majority, and not everybody, a majority of this body, they're all for cutting spending porn. They're all for going to heaven, but they're not ready to make the trip. That's how we got to $36 trillion. This stuff about PEPFAR, oh my God, you're going to destroy the world. Now, there's a part of PEPFAR that deals with money for life-saving care, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And there's a part of PEPFAR that you look at it and you want to say, pass me the sick bucket, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
And you're getting rid of the sick bucket stuff.
Yes, sir.
You're getting rid of $5.5 million to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex advocacy in Uganda, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I can't believe we're arguing about this.
Guys, okay, breaking news just happened minutes ago, guys. Just want to say, this is my favorite part about doing this show. I bring you the breaking news as it's happening. President Trump just listed these policies that are about to proceed thanks to the SCOTUS ruling. He is ending birthright citizenship. He is suspending refugee resettlement. Big one, guys, freezing unnecessary federal funding. This is about as monumental. This is going to change the United States, what I'm about to say next, and he can do it now because of the SCOTUS ruling, because of the Supreme Court's ruling. Ending funding for sanctuary cities. Billions and tens of billions of dollars from the federal government. You and I give to the federal government. We don't give, they just take it. And now he is ending the sanctuary funding for the sanctuary cities. And he is stopping taxpayer funds for transgender surgeries. I want to repeat this list because he just released this. Now that he's got this ruling from the Supreme Court, he's moving full steam ahead. Remember, I told you guys it was going to happen. He's ending birthright citizenship, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary federal funding, ending funding for sanctuary cities, and stopping taxpayer funds for transgender surgeries. Just came from the president. New policies being enacted today, guys. This is huge. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. I want to say thank you so much, Surgical Wizard, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, now the Democrats are trying to impeach Trump for bombing Iran. They said he declared war. Absurd. 100%. Richard William, thank you so much for the super chat. Say, keep up the great work, Joel. Thank you so much. Andy said, Joel, when is Donald Trump going to start deportation on the invader that we have in the country that live in our neighborhoods and also working all over in the area of the United States? Today, brother. Show Andy some love in the chat, guys. show them that have given Richard and Surgical Wizard. Now that we have the SCOTUS ruling, a lot of stuff's about to move forward, guys. This is probably in the next 7 days. We will see more action come from the president because he doesn't have to worry about nationwide injunctions anymore. That is powerful.
I can't believe we're arguing about this. PEP4, we're not denying life-saving care to anybody, are we?
No, and $10 billion would remain for that funding.
And a couple of my colleagues have made the point, well, this was President Biden. President Biden ate my homework. And these programs have already expired. Some of these are multi-year programs, aren't there?
Yes, multi-year grants.
Let's talk about public broadcasting. Now let's cut to the chase. Public broadcasting in America today is political as hell. We all know that.
Ooh.
You don't have to be a senior at Caltech to see it. Some folks like their politics, so they want to give them money. Some folks don't like their politics, and they don't want to take it away. But that's not the real principle, is it, Mr. Director?
No, sir.
The real principle is, why do we give money to CNN?
No.
Do we give money to Fox?
No.
Do we give money to Politico?
No.
Then why are we giving money to public broadcasting? Why? We're $36 trillion in the hole. I hope you send us more rescission packages. It's the only way we're going to get anything done. I'm embarrassed to say that. But I've seen this movie before, and this appropriations process is broken. And finally, somebody is trying to give us a chance to cut the spending porn.
Ooh.
And we're sitting here fighting about it? The American people are going, what planet did all you people just parachute in from? I'm done, Madam Chair.
Guys, I'm telling you, if things aren't about to come and smack every liberal Democrat in the face, guys, look at this. I want to show you this because Trump is gonna put into an effect federal IDs for every federal election. Nationwide injunctions, sorry, can't do them anymore. Supreme Court just said they're not lawful. States Harris 1 versus ID requirement. It just so happens that the states she wins are the ones that don't have any ID, don't require any ID. How easy is it to have people vote and people actually that are not citizens vote whenever you don't check whether they're an actual citizen? This is about to end thanks to the Supreme Court ruling today, guys, because Trump is requiring federal ID with every federal election, guys. The Democrats have lost. This is a new day. A new age is coming. I'm excited about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because this is what we voted for. And thankfully, the Supreme Court has done their dang job to make sure that we don't get ripped off by non-citizens. And what you're about to hear next is coming too, guys. The Biden administration, for all the crap that they pulled, letting in over 20 million people, spending tens of hundreds of billions of dollars of our taxpayer money on non-citizens, it's about to come to an end. Listen to this.
It's going well. I think we're making a lot of progress. We've got a big list of people to bring in, and we're just going to follow the trail to see who is actually calling the shots and operating the auto pen in the Biden White House.
Neera Tanden was the first person that came in earlier this week. From what I can tell, and you were there, she admitted that she was in charge of the documents into and out of the Oval Office, Joe Biden's desk, and she had authority to use the auto pen. That sounds like it's pretty incriminating.
Right there, guys.
It's pretty incriminating, and she was a good witness. She answered all the questions. She was very forthcoming. But the startling thing is she wasn't around Joe Biden very often, and that she wasn't the one that decided which documents went in. She operated the auto pen, but she was taking directions from what appears to be Ron Klain and others on the inside. So now, obviously, our investigation is going to be moving to the people on the inside. She was the staff secretary, the president's secretary, but unlike Donald Trump's current staff secretary and Obama's staff secretary and the Bush staff secretary, she didn't interact with the president very often. She was kind of what appears to me to be shielded from Joe Biden a little bit. So we're going to bring the people in that were calling the shots. We believe she was the one.
Do you hear this crap, guys? The person who operated the autopin for 20 months without no oversight didn't even have much contact with the president, meaning that what she was doing was of her own accord. Is this not the most bombshell breaking news that we're finally exposing the shadow government, the Biden administration, for what they truly were, guys? The most corrupt, scandalous presidency in American history.
That actually used the autopin, but she wasn't the one that determined what to sign with the autopin and what not to sign.
Is there something you're honing in on, like the ones that I'm most interested in that I think, Milley, Cheney, Fauci, their pardons. I believe that Joe Biden had an interest in, giving his son a pardon and his brother. But the other ones, do you have any evidence so far to suggest that, they just blew off the president and issued these pardons?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. Neera Tanden didn't see Joe Biden ever authorize by signing his initials on the memos that she would receive that would say to use the autopin. She wasn't, Joe Biden wasn't around her when the autopin was in use. We know that many times the autopin was used when Joe Biden was in the White House. Why didn't you just have Joe Biden sign it right there in the White House? So, there's evidence that would suggest that there's a possibility out there that Joe Biden wasn't calling the shots. And then you look at all the Democrats and the Jake Tapper book and what we believe will be in the Jean-Pierre book that suggest that maybe Joe Biden was in significant cognitive decline and he wasn't the one calling the shots. So that's what we're going to try to determine, and we're going to bring everybody in. We've subpoenaed several people, including Dr. O'Connor, that will be coming in. So we have a lot of questions about the medical reports that Dr. O'Connor published. He published report after report saying Joe Biden was in tip-top physical condition. Now we know he has, stage 3 cancer. We know that from the debate performance and from Tapper's book and other interviews that Joe Biden was in decline. So the question remains, who was calling the shots? And if someone was using Joe Biden's signature, essentially forging his signature, then those pardons and those executive orders could be declared null and void.
Right there, guys. It's all coming, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We just heard not only was President Biden not involved with so many of the pardons, the executive orders, the policies of his autopin, they will become null and void once they go through all these people. And the first person already admitted under oath, she operated the autopin, and it wasn't from Biden. It was from other people. Guys, this is the deep state being exposed, baby. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Gregosaurus Galoris, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, let's go MTG for speaker. I love it. Y'all show Gregosaurus some love in the chat.
We have a law on that. All presidents use auto pen, right? The Eagle Scout. You become an Eagle Scout, you get a letter from the president. I don't think the president actually signs that.
Yeah.
Where does it? I mean, there has to be a cutoff line, and if there isn't a law, maybe there should be a law. But do you have a law right now?
There's really not a law right now, and it's exactly what you said. Presidents use the auto pen, just like I use an auto pen, or Jim Jordan or anyone else in Congress, to sign correspondence to the massive amounts of messages that you get. But no one uses an auto pen for legal documents. I can't use an auto pen to sign subpoenas. That's my legal document. Subpoenas. I have to fly back to Washington, D.C. just to sign one piece of paper. But what we've learned is Joe Biden was in the White House. He was actually in the White House, but for whatever reason, couldn't or didn't sign the documents, but they would have the auto pen sign them, and they would go through this bureaucratic deal to where there would be a memo sent out to Neera Tanden, and she would then take the documents and place them in the auto pen. I mean, this seems like a lot of unnecessary steps. Just have the President of the United States sign it. The fact that he didn't, on top of the clear evidence of his cognitive decline, suggests a real possibility that Joe Biden wasn't the one calling the shots.
Well, take a look at this guy and keep this in mind when you talk to Anthony Bernal, Jill Biden's top guy. Now, I hate this fake news book, but I have a feeling they talked to this Anthony character. As Jill's power rose, so did Bernal's. Biden aides would say that she was one of the most powerful first ladies in history, and as a result, he became one of the most influential people in the White House. And also this, doesn't sound like the nicest guy in the world, he was a constant source of gossip about Biden's aides, which he passed along to the First Lady. Gosh, that West Wing can be so catty and nasty under Democrats, at least.
Yeah, what we're learning, there were factions within the Biden White House. There was definitely an inner circle. I don't think Neera Tanden was actually in the Biden inner circle. We think we've identified now from her transcribed interview and other sources who the inside circle was. Certainly Bernal is one person that we believe is in the circle. That's why I've subpoenaed him to come in.
Let's
and we're
go.
going to hear from Ron Klain. We're going to hear from many others in the Biden administration. We're going to bring everyone in that anyone identifies as someone who had authority over that auto pen. And we're going to get answers for the American people as to who was actually calling the shots at the Biden White House. And more importantly, whether or not all these executive orders and pardons that were signed with the auto pen are valid in the future. And that's a big deal. That is a significant reason as to why this investigation is needed.
Guys, this is the biggest stuff ever. I just want to show you this because there's so much breaking news today, guys. Doge's, this guy, Edward Korstein, referred to his as Big Balls, is now working full-time within the Social Security Administration. He left the Doge team to join the Social Security Administration as an employee of the Social Security Administration to identify the rampant waste, fraud, and abuse that plagues the agency, guys. This is all the stuff that we've been voting for. A lot of people made a big deal about this guy and his capabilities and being able to go through and find the fraud, waste, and abuse, and now he's literally working for one of the most corrupt systems in America. And yes, I know I just said corrupt about Social Security, but guess what? When it's been going on for this long, when we had over 12 million people that shouldn't have been on there, when we had people that are non-citizens receiving Social Security, yeah, there's a lot of corruption in there. But not only that, some of the biggest news today, guys, is that China has officially confirmed that it's agreed to Trump's trade deal. Everybody in the world said it couldn't happen, guys. Everybody on the left-wing media outlets, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all the Democrats said it couldn't be done. China will never agree. Trump is the deal maker, baby. Look at this. Officially, China has now agreed. We're bringing in more money than we've ever brought in. On average, throughout the years, we've brought in between $5 to $8 billion, guys, per month from tariffs. 5 to 8 billion, okay? This last month, we brought in $88 billion from tariffs. That's what Trump wanted. That's what he promised. And it's working. And now we're bringing in so much money. The promises he made, he said, are going to come to pass. Number one, no taxes on Social Security. Number two, anybody making under $150,000 a year doesn't pay federal income taxes, guys. Do y'all realize the breadth of this win, that what it's going to do for the midterms and helping Trump to secure a long-lasting MAGA policies agenda with this deal right here that you're seeing on screen? The two biggest superpowers in the entire world, United States and Russia, have agreed to a deal that everybody on the left said couldn't happen. And it gets even better with what's going on, guys, over this big, beautiful bill, over all the stuff that's happening with Trump and just winning more and more in everything having to deal with the Senate parliamentarian. We're calling it all out, guys. And this right here, I want you to hear from the Supreme Court, breaking news, the insider of what actually happened in the Supreme Court today, because this is the mother of all wins, guys. Listen to this.
Partial, if not a full, and we're reading this because there are several concurrences here, but it's written by Justice Barrett, which goes against the ruling that I just gave the guidance because she's one of the least junior justices, but she was assigned to write this opinion. And essentially what she says, some say that the universal injunctions give the judiciary a powerful tool to check the executive branch, but she says federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies consistent with the authority Congress has given to them. When a court concludes the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power, sounding very much like they are limiting these injunctions. We know here that they have granted at least partially the stay to these preliminary injunctions, but they say only to the extent that the injunctions are broader than necessary to provide complete relief to each plaintiff withstanding to sue. They say the lower courts have to move expeditiously with respect to each of these plaintiffs. It says the injunctions are also stayed to the extent that they prohibit executive agencies from developing and issuing public guidance about the executive plans to implement the executive order. If you remember, part of this executive order on birthright citizenship, the stay was that the agencies that would be responsible for actually implementing the change with birthright citizenship, those agencies couldn't even start making a plan. So that part of it is lifted as well. We do see that the dissent here comes from the three justices you expect. It looks like Justice Sotomayor filed the dissent. Kagan and Jackson joined that. Justice Jackson also filed a dissenting opinion, but there are a lot of concurrences here. Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, there are others. So we'll parse through this, but at its first blush, it looks like this is a win and putting a limit on these nationwide injunctions. We'll see how far those limits go as we dig back through this.
Guys, again, the wins and the bombshell news just keeps dropping. Wall Street economist who ripped Trump over the tariffs admits that the president may have outsmarted all of us on tariffs. Guys, let's go. This is the wins. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Said, Joel, we don't have 20 million invaders. We should have at least 100 million. Remember King Obama, how many he brought in? Also Clinton and Bush, we should have 100 million. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it, guys. With everything that we've seen thus far, there is so much that is corrupt. But this right here, everybody is now coming out and saying that Trump was right. You believe Trump was right, guys? Put it in the chat. Let me know, because I've been smiling so much because I love the truth. I love that we're doing things like this. The DOJ is now suing Orange County for concealing illegal aliens' ID on voter rolls. Like the breadth and what these dang Democrats have done to try to win elections, how they've used illegals for their own personal gain, how they have constantly demeaned Americans in order to use non-citizens to win. They're finally getting their butts sued. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is some big stuff. The DOJ demanding records of illegal aliens found on Orange County voter rolls. The county provides some information, but redacted personal identifying information, such as driver's license, state-assigned voter ID numbers, language preferences, and images of signatures. It's all corrupt, guys. Everything that we've been seeing. Trump came out and said, giant win in the United States Supreme Court. Even the birthright citizenship hoax has been indirectly hit hard. It's had to do with the babies of slaves, same year, not the scamming of our immigration process. Congratulations to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Solicitor General John Sawyer, and the entire DOJ. Guys, wins, baby. That is what we're doing. And again, too, everything that I'm showing you guys, it makes me super happy because this is America winning. And I feel like America has been screwed over for so long by elitists, by people that have taken advantage of hardworking Americans. And now finally you have a president who is going to be the most famous president in the 21st century. EU says it's ready to make a trade deal with the United States. You got the biggest one, China, who just agreed. Now the EU. I don't doubt it that by the end of this, we're probably going to be getting $100 to $110 billion of tariff revenue a month because of what Trump has done. This is winning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, let me know. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, guys. Today is a big monumental day. It's a big winning day for America. We couldn't do it without you. And want to say thank you to everybody that has liked our videos, shared our videos, those that are members, those that have given a super chat donation today, guys. We are so grateful for your support. Remember, this money goes to charity on the 22nd of every single month. This guy right here is donating to live to a local charity. This next month, we're going to be donating to a local children's home. Because, guys, these kids ain't gotten anybody, but they got us. And we're going to, whenever you partner with us as a member or you give a super chat donation, we're giving thousands of dollars every single month. And thus far, in the past 9 months, we have given almost $40,000 live on stream, guys, because of you. I want to give some love to Joanne Momoa, Deanna Rankin, Mama Bays, Fred Samuel, Lay Lewis for gifting 5 True Life News memberships, Victor Basil, Fred Samuel, Surgical Wizard, Richard Williams, Andy, Mama Sage, Gregosaurus, Judy Ward. Guys, show them some love in the chat. Thank you so much for liking our videos, sharing our videos. This is a big day, baby. And we're going to keep bringing the breaking news for you. Love you all. Appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.